Well, here's a curious creature that was sitting in a box, and no clue on the box as to what it was, and I was bereft about ideas for it until I started exploring it. What is it, though? It comes in two halves. That bit comes off. The bottom bit might be a bit of a clue, because if I hold it up to the camera, you'll see in focus a very familiar pattern appearing. Okay, let's get it into focus. Is that a familiar toy or what? Yes, of course it is. Well, the top of it too is a bit bizarre because it's got this little lever which goes up and down. And the thing inside is even more bizarre. It's a kind of cone thing. And the figure is quite particular. Let's have a look at it, see if I can get him into focus. He's quite a sweet little figure, actually. Well-known little figure belonging to a whole set. The interesting bit, really, the clue is this bit here at the bottom, which is a kind of spiral, like an Archimedes screw. That is a big clue. So when I put it on the table along with its companion pieces, you'll see what it is I'm talking about. This is part of my top collection, my spinning top collection, but really just four very bizarre ones. One's very recent. I don't know when I got this, to be honest, but that's since I showed that first, I'll show it how it works first and show the others in a minute. So this one here, in order to work it, you have to first of all, place it on there and do a little half turn like that. So that's all it requires. As it's pushed upwards, it starts spinning until it comes across the table. See if I can do it without it falling off. A little bit harder and it'll spin a little more evenly, or sometimes you have to get the center of gravity right, so it's in tune. Yes, it's a bit better. So it spins very, very nicely when it pops out of this little mechanism. So you have to assemble this as a kit form and assemble this, and then you've got a very unusual spinning top. I don't know what the name is for it, but it's quite sweet. So that's a very, very clever idea, and unlike any other spinning top I've ever seen in my life. And a kit form too. Wonderful. The second one is the precursor to a top that we sold on our website for a long time. It was made by a Polish-American chap. But this is the very first version he produced. I think I had to do it on a plate, actually, to make this work. The very first version, the versions we sold eventually were plastic marbles all put together, forming octahedrons and tetrahedrons and things. This is glass marbles, his prototype, with a bit of spongy stuff in the middle and lots of super glue to make it work. So this came out at least a full year in the American Toy Fair before he really launched and got busy with this particular spinning top. It's the one which you have to blow like that and you can keep it going for as long as you've got breath. But that's a heavy, heavy job, and that really wasn't reproducible. It was large and heavy and expensive. And to go the route of special types of plastic, which makes very nice marbles and nice and heavy and solid, was the way to go. You just stuck them together, and they made them in a number of shapes and lots of colors. And we had them on the website for a long time. But that I'm keeping as my original prototype of this type of spinner. Next one is a very nice little spinning top, which every now and then I just turn up and then forget about it. It's a magnetic one. This is a little UFO. Let's show the pieces first of all. This is a little UFO, if I can hold it like this. Nicely made, actually. And it's got where my thumb is as a magnet, actually a magnet. That ball bearing is also a magnetic ball bearing. So when I bring this thing up, this place is rather funny. It's just a bit of tin, as you can see. When I put it the right way around, which is like that, see if you recognize this. Get it up to the camera. It's a bit of flat Earth. This is Africa and Asia, that side of the world, not the New World. And lots of cloud around, which is what you see if you're on a satellite there. Up at the top is the Mediterranean and so on in Europe somewhere. Well, it says a magnetic top, so that this will actually hold like this, and then it performs reasonably well. That's where we go. On the table. This is sufficiently light that sometimes it goes around the world and sometimes vice versa. There we are. I did to start with. There we are. Now it's spinning normally. If I did it on a slightly smoother surface, it goes better, but there we are. It's like that. So that way it's rotating like that. It's just sometimes when it feels like it goes around the world. It's a kind of twin performance. It's quite nice. It's the fact that it actually works very well. Very, very unusual and very original too. No one's ever made anything quite like that before. So something definitely to look out for, just in case I can bring it back again. It's a clever idea. The last one is the most recent one. I got it at the New York Toy Fair this last year in Manhattan at a shop. It's bizarre, to say the least. There's a spinning ball there with magnets in it. This thing which you're supposed to wear on a finger, I suppose, but I'll hold it like that. Um, and it's got different points of magnetism. That holds there, and then there's a much stronger magnet in the middle there, and so on. Let me just show you the actual product first. It's quite complicated, sort of graphics on it. So that's the sort of North Pole or the South Pole with one lot of, but the actual polarity, the actual pole is set slightly off, more like on the Arctic or Antarctic Circle. This is bizarre. And then there's another pole in the middle there, and this bizarre little piece. Well, let's have a look at it close up to the camera. It's got some words there which I can't read. Oh, whew. What are those numbers? I have no idea. But you can see the finger ring in the middle. And magnets both ends, magnet plus and magnet minus or something. Anyway, what it does is on a surface, you've got to spin this first of all like this. I'll put it on a plate actually to keep it a little more under control. And then with this thing, you're supposed to be able to steer it and guide it, move it around. With the attracting side, you're supposed to be able to spin it like this and get the thing to speed up rather than blowing on it like that. So I find it difficult. And also, if you put it under the table, of course, you can also make it do tricks under the table because I'm moving it around under the plate. So there's a number of things you can play with that. And there's quite a complicated little brochure that came with it describing all sorts of effects you can do with it. That's the strongest magnetic effect by far. Very, very strong. And there's another one that side like that. So it's one of those open things where you've got to try different things, and some of them work very well and others not particularly well, actually. So it's a variable thing, but it's something that I want to explore a bit more because it's got some features to it which don't think I've ever come across before. So, 4 interesting spinners. What do you think?